Hey everyone, today's video I want to go over one of my all-time favorite builds. It's the Fury Druid. I've been playing this build since early 2000s and ever since I just fell in love with it. With some of the recent changes that they made in the new patch for D2R, they made the Druid more viable. They buffed not only the summon skills, but they buffed the fire skills and the shapeshifting skills. In today's video, I'm going to go over stats and different item combinations that you can use, and I'll show you some of my favorite builds and some things that you will be able to test out as well. Before we begin, if you could really quickly give this video a like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you have any input or insight or what character builds you want to see next, please comment below. So the Fury Druid, I used to do a lot of PvP back in the day, and this is my PvP setup that I used to use. I used to do a lot of GM dueling in organized leagues. There are certain rules you had to abide by, and this setup right here helped me climb to the top. So for the stats for my Druid, I do what is called a balance build. A lot of people like to go pure vitality for life to get the most life that they can. Some people like to go more strength for like a brute force type build, but this build helped me accomplish the most. I put enough strength in so when I hit W for switch for my calling to arms, I have enough to wear my steel rends here. They cost 185 strength, but you get a lot of bonus from Storm Shield here. So how much I pump into strength? I pump 130 for my base value. For dexterity, I put enough dexterity in to have max blocking with Storm Shield on and Breath of the Dying. I put a little more dex in to have max blocking with Grief while I'm wearing Storm Shield. That way I could switch in between which one I prefer. So my base value is 160. And after you get those two taken care of, I pump the rest into vitality. So whatever I have left, so here my base is 275. It doesn't matter because that's where all your extra points are going to go. You're not going to put any into energy. You don't need energy. You're a werewolf. So you just worry about the strength. So this for a balanced build, 130. Roughly, you could go probably about 120, 130. I like going a little bit more. Dexterity, I put 160 base in there. You could go 160, 165 to be safe because it also adds to attack rating. And then the rest you want to dump into vitality. So that's it for stats. So now for skills. Skills, they're pretty straightforward. You come over here to the shapeshifting skill tree and you max out werewolf. You'll max out lycanthropy. You'll put 1 point into feral rage, 1 point into rabies for prerequisites, and then you max out fury. For the elemental skill tree, I put 1 point into Arctic Blast because that's a prerequisite. For Cyclone Armor, I get Cyclone Armor for Absorb. It helps out a little bit. Then for summoning, you could either max out Oak Sage or Heart of the Wolverine. I like to max out Oak Sage for life, but Heart of the Wolverine, if you want damage and attack rating, you can max that out. Technically, if you go for 99, you can max both of them out, but it's just, again, your personal preference. And then I go all the way and get 1 point into Grizzly and its prerequisites. So that leaves you 22 skill points remaining, which is why you'll be able to possibly max out Heart of the Wolverine. But like again, personal preference. What I was thinking of trying, since I do more PVM nowadays, is maxing out Grizzly and then possibly switching out some of my shape-shifting charms for some Druid summoning charms. Get that a little boost, a little more of a tank. Something to try out. I might try that out here. But again, it's whatever you want to do. You got 22 skill points remaining to kind of do whatever you want to do with them. So that's it for skills. Again, pretty straightforward. Max out Werewolf, Lycanthropy, Fury, and then either Oak Sage or Heart of the Wolverine. Now that we covered stats and skills, I want to get into the gear. There's multiple combinations that you could do for gear. One thing I always make sure that I have with my Fury Druid, my Werewolf, is get the 4 frames of faster hit recovery. And to get that 4 frames, you need 42. So you'll get 40 from your combination of items. So like Jalal's here, you'll get 30 faster hit recovery. And Vertigo's here, you'll get 10, which leaves you at 40, and you need 42. So what I always do is try to get a 5 faster hit recovery small charm and put that in here. That way you'll hit 45, so you'll hit the 42 threshold to hit the 4 frames. Just something I've always done for my PvP, which always helped out a lot. And then my basic setup here, I'm going to change it up, but this is what I used to use. I use Storm Shield with Shale for the faster block rating. That's why I put the Shale in there. JLLs, I put 40 enhanced damage jewel and a 15 max damage jewel because back in the day, the increased attack speed jewels didn't work outside of shapeshifting. So once you shifted into a bear or a wolf, you only got the attack speed from the weapon. So I used Breath of the Dying Berserker Axe back in the day. I love it. I still love it, but there's better options. But if you were doing GM dueling, this would be my weapon of choice. Armor, Fortitude, hands down the best armor for this build. You could go with a stone if you want to. That gives more defense, a little bit of strength and resistance, not too much. Or you could go with Chains of Honor. I got those in the stash. So there's a stone here, Chains of Honor here. So you'll be getting those with this as well. I use steel rends. I used to use those when I used to do PvP. I just love them. They're just monster gloves to have. Also, I would use blood fists because Drax were considered BM back in the day with the life tap if you weren't Paladin. So I'd use blood fists and I upgraded them twice. You can upgrade them twice with the cube. So that's what I would use for gloves. Amulet, I use High Lords. It's just awesome amulet to have for a melee druid. And then I'd use 2 Raven Frosts for the attack rating and dex, and the cannot be frozen. Vertigo's belt. Like I said, with the faster hit recovery, you get life, damage reduction, all that good stuff. And then Gore Riders. You could upgrade them, but then the strength requirement is a lot, so that's up to your personal preference. But this was my GM dueling build. For my inventory, I use 9 45 life shapeshifting grand charms. They're just awesome to have. I use a Druid torch and Annie, and then, like I said, my 5 faster hit recovery small charm, and then 3 max damage, 20 attack rating, 20 life. This is what I would use for PvP back in the day. Worked phenomenal, helped me climb to the top. Now that I don't PvP as much, I switched it up. So I know many of you have seen the Reaper Fury Druid build with the Guillaume's face and the Eth Reaper's Toll with the Zod in it. It's a very good combination. I've tried it out. It's not bad. It kills Diablo pretty quick. I've tested it out on him. It's just an all-around good build. But I like shields. That's just my personal preference. So I tried a Grief Phase Blade and a Phoenix Monarch combo, and I love it. With Reaper's Toll, you'll get a little more Deadly Strike, and you get Life Leech. Grief, you don't get Life Leech, but you get Prevent Monster Heal. You get a little less Deadly Strike. You still get it. Plus 400 damage. I think the Phase Blade's a little bit faster. And then you get enhanced damage from the Phoenix Monarch as well. You get Redemption, so you don't necessarily need Life Leech unless you can't take the hits. And if you can't take the hits, then switch it out for Drax gloves. Take off the steel rends and put Drax on, so you get the life tap. Then you also get the life leech, and I would put the Guillaume's face on just for the extra deadly strike and crushing blow. You'll still hit that 4 frames faster hit recovery. So that's what I found out to work pretty good. If you were wanting to switch up some more, you could take a Cerebus Bite and put a Cham rune in it, so you will have the cannot be frozen. And then I will put an angelic amulet on and an angelic ring. With that combination, you'll get a ton of attack rating. So I'll show you here. I got an angelic amulet on and an angelic ring. With the ring and amulet combo, you can see here how much attack rating you get. If you put an extra angelic on there, you'll get double it. So that's a good way if you want more attack rating and to hit a little bit harder, or make sure your hits count. But again, you could try out all this stuff. It's just personal preference. I like the High Lords and the Raven Frost personally, but I've tried out the Angelics, and it's a pretty good build. So now I'm going to show you this in action a little bit. Again, it's just a character I played with for a long time. I love it, and I think it kills rather nicely. So let's see how it kills here. As you can see, this is on players 8. and I'm killing just as good as an Eth Reaper's Toll. So I will switch out here in a second to an Eth Reaper's Toll just to show you how much similar this is killing, but I like this combination a lot. So now I switched out the Grief and the Phoenix for the Eth Reaper's Toll just to show you how similar they both kill here. And to be honest, I never thought the Eth Reaper's Toll would be this good. I was really surprised when I saw a build like this. But, you know, you could do two hands or one hand. The Grief and the Phoenix, I think, work out really well. The Reaper's Toll kills really well. I just want to show that there are other options that are similar to the degree that the Reaper's Toll can kill. And to be honest, I didn't know how the IAS was going to work out when they first said that they're going to change it in the patch. When they first had it out, it was really weird. It was really slow. It made the werewolf and werebear really, really not viable. So I'm glad they fixed it. I'm glad it's able to kill really well. I'm going to switch back here in a second, back to the Grief and Phoenix, just to show you the similarities that this and the Reaper's Toll does. But I'm glad I was able to find another option. Like I was saying, it's just fun to have different options and to test them out, especially since I play PVM more nowadays. It's just, I enjoy playing the game, and it's fun to test it out and do different things. There are other items that you could use. So, for instance, I like the Breath of the Dying axe. It's always been my favorite since I was a teenager. It just doesn't kill as fast as the Grief or the Reaper's Toll, but it's always a fun all around item to have, especially if you're going to go PvP and do GM dueling, then it's a good weapon to have. Another option that's good to have is a Eth Rib Cracker. That's pretty fun for the PVM aspect. It's good for Ubers, and I also like an Eth Tome Reaver. That's with a Zod rune and 40 ED and 15 IAS jewels in it. It's very, very powerful. So that's the Fury Druid build. It's my favorite build. I enjoy it a lot. I'll have the files in the description where you could go to download this build for your single player. If you'd like, you'll get a bunch of bonus items as well. I'll list those all in the description of what you'll get of the Patreon. But I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please list them below. I would greatly appreciate it to hear back from you guys, what you like, what you don't like, and what character builds you would like me to see me showcase next. But this one's my favorite. There's so many things you could do with it. I'm going to do a video with a Uber Fury Druid showing you clearing that. So I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope you download the files and test this character out. Thanks for checking out my video.